everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be Vlogmas Day 23, and I'm on a crunch for time. I am going to make my original cheesecake, but then I'm going to turn it into a raspberry swirl cheesecake. So, we're going to start with the graham crackers. So, I usually will use 1 pack and 4 more from a second pack. So we're going to go in to the food processor and just throw in the graham crackers. I have a pan, Jean's roasting pan. I have it in the oven to use it as a bain-marie because if you don't want to crack in your cheesecake, that's the best way to do it. Okay, so that's 1 pack. And then I need 4 from an additional pack. And all I have to do is melt some butter. So, hopefully you can see that. I'll bring you closer in a minute. So, I have to grab 4 more graham crackers for the food processor. And this one will be 4. Now, I did state that I have not done a chocolate cheesecake on here in a while, but with the holidays, I wanted to use raspberry preserves and do a swirl because I thought that that would be cute for Christmas. Who doesn't love cheesecake? And maybe, depends on time, I might do a chocolate ganache on the top once it's totally cool. I can just tell you what's in that, but that's not even a guarantee. So, I cut the butter. I have to melt that in the microwave real quick and put it in with the graham crackers. And I'm going to wrap my pan in foil because these are the 2 sizes I have out, and I ran water through them. They were both leaking. This one not so much. So it's just all going to depend on the amount of batter that I get from this cheesecake that I make. So I kept running it under water trying to get it to not leak. Sometimes springform pans do that. Okay. So there is our 1.5 cups of graham crackers, or 1 pack and 4 more from the second pack. 3 tablespoons of sugar. I filled up the sugar in advance because I need it. I overfilled it for that reason. 1, 2, and 3. Just want to see how level this is. I might have to add a tiny bit more sugar on that cup when we go to make the mixture. Okay, so it's only saying 1/3 cup of melted butter. If I don't think it's enough butter, I will just pop some more in the microwave. Whoa! Uh-oh. Problem. Hold on. Okay, so what just happened is I have a roasting pan in here that's Jean's, to use it as a bain-marie, so that my cheesecake doesn't crack. And now I'm going to have to take it out because my little dab of butter just fell in the bottom of the oven. And I'm going to, ever so quickly, try to wipe that up. So that, you know, because I always clean up after myself. But Jean's going to do more baking today, so I don't want the oven to be smoking. You just take a minute out and make sure that I get it all up. Things happen to the best of us. And now I'm just going to re-go over it. There we go. Problem solved. Now, I have to put my rack back down on the bottom so I can fit the bain-marie, well, the roasting pan with the water back in there. So let's do that. All right, let me get pot holders and put this back in, and I will show you. You're better off putting it in the oven and filling it with the water instead of carrying that heavy thing all the way over. Okay. Problem averted. Won't be any smoking. And now I'm going to recut some more butter. Get a microwavable. Let me move this out of your way. Like I said, Jean was baking for hours yesterday, so I still don't have all my things done. So I'm making for Debbie, the kids, you know. I'm going to hope to get it all done and hope not to be working on Christmas Eve. Okay, so it's 1/3 cup of butter melted. Let me get a bowl. I can melt some butter. We will recut it. I'm using my Ninja food processor. That butter just got a little slippery. It's all right in the bottom. I didn't want it to smoke up anything. I'm going to put this in the microwave for 30 seconds, if that. Here's my butter. If I need more, I will just melt a little bit more. I've been making this cheesecake for a really long time. This is my cheesecake recipe. And I figured I would add some raspberries into it. Raspberry preserves. So let's get the power on, which it's not on. And it was plugged in, so let me try switching the plug. Okay. Let me figure this. Okay, very odd. The outlet didn't want to work. I am going to crush these all up. Okay, they're not fully crushed. Now I want to check to see if it's going to need, yep, a little bit more butter. So, not the end of the world. I'll just throw another piece in. I'm just not sure exactly what pan I'm using. I love a good springform pan, but sometimes they'll leak. Wrap it in foil. So let me get this butter in here. Whoops. And we'll get that melted. I'm actually leaning towards this size compared to this size, so yeah, I think I'll figure that out. Let's check the butter. We will blend this real quick again. And crush. Okay. So I'm going to leave that sit right there. And we are going to move on to the KitchenAid. I've had the cream cheese out. So let me get this situated. I'm going to use a paddle attachment. And I will be sure to turn you around. I'll come back to the graham cracker once I see how much batter I have. Okay, here we go. All right, so that's done. So 4 packs of Philadelphia cream cheese, which I have. And then I'm just a little tiny bit short on the sugar. So I'll just top my cup off to make sure it's 1 cup. Sorry about all the noise here today. I'm making a bunch of racket. If they want to eat it, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too, because the kids would love it. Debbie and Don would love it. I'm just trying to even this off. Okay. Full cup of sugar. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I have that. 4 eggs. Let me grab 4 eggs from the chicken. Again, if you know, I always like to crack my eggs separate. You learn to do that when you have chickens in case you get a bad egg. And then we've been putting all the eggshells in here. Chickens will have a ton. So 4 eggs. This is technically my spring cheesecake recipe, but it's so good you can just use it for anything and then add your add-ins. Okay, and that's why I like to crack it in the bowl so you can thoroughly examine your chicken eggs. And this is going to be another thing off my list and also go for Vlogmas. Let me make sure. Okay, it's working over here now. Alrighty. So, and then I do a little bit of fresh squeezed. I do a little bit of rinds. The zest, sorry. And then the juice of a lemon. Okay, let's start with getting... These should be very soft. And I bought the big block of cream cheese. I had these, so I wanted to use them up. And then I went into my big box. I think it's like a 4-pounder. And I had to cut 2 more blocks off of that. And because it's so soft, I couldn't get it to cut correctly. Got it all. Okay, let's see if the next one will open a little bit better. Doing cream cheese at room temperature is the best. It just makes it not lumpy, more smooth. Now my other one I didn't have out as long, so there's 2 bricks cream cheese. And then where these lines are, makes another 8 ounce. So we need a total of 4 packs of Philadelphia cream cheese. Just get this open. I'm hoping to be able to get some other things done today, but we will have to see. All right, that's 4 in total. And now I'm going to lock this in and I'm going to start creaming the cream cheese slowly. I told you that top lock was a little bit cold, but just let the mixer do the work. Because the two were soft and the one was not exactly room temperature, the bigger block. Now we can turn this up, get it off the spatula. Absolute must to have your cream cheese not lumpy and very smooth. So we're going to do a quickie scrape down, get it off the sides. Make sure you get the bottom middle. Come on, come off. Okay, I'm going to run this for another minute or two. All right, that's looking good to me. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. We're going to put one egg in at a time. Actually, I wanted to cream the sugar. It's not going to make a difference. Let me just get the sugar in there. And we'll cream up that and we'll add the other 2 eggs. Or 3 eggs, I'm sorry. Time to scrapey. Get all this down in so it all gets mixed in well. Now, if you're not used to making cheesecake, here's my advice. Don't be intimidated. Take your time. Sweetened, tastes good. Take your time. If you put it in the water, like I was stating, let me preheat this oven to 350. Okay. Don't worry. If you ever get a crack, you can always cover it with something yummy. Going in with the next egg. There's our egg. Scrape again, in case you see just cream cheese. You want this really incorporated, and it just makes for a great cheesecake. Trying to get some of it off the paddle, in case it's just straight cheese. And if you get your ingredients out beforehand, it will make this process a lot easier. Okay. 2 teaspoons of real vanilla. So, do 1 tablespoon for me. There you go. Let that mix in. Looking good. And this is how I don't usually get lumps. I mean, you might get an occasional lump, but if you mix it well, you shouldn't get lumps. And if your ingredients are room temperature. So, turn this up. good. Let's see. Now we need a little lemon zest and the juice of a lemon. So let's see if I can use the new thing that Jay got me. See if that helps my life out a little bit better. Because I have the right equipment. And yeah, let's just try to see if we can do it on this. So, organic lemons. I'm going to try to just clip it on. Just the zest, not the white pith. And considering I'm going to be adding some raspberry, the lemon, I mean, this is how I would do mine for spring too, with the lemon in it. But for the raspberry, it will just make it, the two flavors will go really good together. So just over here zesting. I have a microplane, and it may be down in a box. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with a half of a lemon. Make sure you don't get any seeds inside your cheesecake, because that would be horrible. So I picked some out. And what you can do is use your hand. My hands are clean. And you can just squeeze it, top the bowl, and use your hand as a way of getting all the juice and no seeds. And I think that is good. Okay, done. And now we're going to give this a mix. Smells so good. Okay. I see a little bit of cheese on this paddle. But you can just smell it. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. And you can use, what's going on with this oven? Bake, 325, start. Okay, so yeah, 325 on the oven, preheat it. One last spin around and we're done. Okay, like I said, you can turn this into a chocolate one. I'm not. I might do a chocolate ganache on the top, but I know that raspberry goes very well with cheesecake. And I wanted to make my thumbprint cookies and haven't even gotten them done yet. Okay, so let me figure out now how much batter I'm going to have. So I'm going to turn you around. I'm just going to sit that there. And I have to move a couple things. Look at how gorgeous that looks. Okay, my friends. I didn't write down the size of the pan that it does best, but I know I've used both before. This one would be a little bit higher. So, let's see, shall we? It's a factor of I've been pushing this, unlocking it, pushing it, unlocking it. These pans, and I don't need it to leak. So I think, all right, let me test this out 1 second. So yeah, right where this little lock is, this one's dripping, of course. You don't want it to all pour out. You can cut a piece of parchment paper. I've never really had to do that on a cheesecake, but things happen. So let's see. What I can do. Like I said, I really always get my cheesecakes out pretty easily, so you could just cut it. Let me line this up a little bit better. This pen is not the greatest. Alright, so that's my option. I could cut that out, but I don't know. Like I said, I've never really had to do that, so let's start off with this. Looks like quite a bit. Alright, let's get the foil. Let's go for it, my friends. Oh, shoot, I still have to do the graham cracker. I'm just curious if I could get 2 out of this. Okay. I know this one for sure is... I know this one for sure is most likely going to have to be wrapped. And if I seem a little frazzled, it's because I am. No, it's not because of the holidays. It's just trying to get my things done. All right, let's pulse this again. Whoops. Might help if I put the lid back on right. Let's double check this. Let me raise you up. Try this a little bit more. It just seems like right here is where it's leaking a little bit. But that would be pretty sweet to have had an extra size like this and you can get 2 cheesecakes out of it. Right? So, I don't know. Let's go for this one. Always watch the blades on these Ninjas because they are super sharp. And let's start putting the graham cracker right in there. You can use your hand. You can use a back of anything. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I bring it up to the sides. But right now I'm just trying to even it out. And what I mean by a cup is you could take like a little measuring cup like this and you can press it down and push it up the edge at the same time. I feel like this could have used a little bit more butter in the crust, but that's okay. And then just go around and make sure the center is completely flattened down. So that looks pretty good right there. I'm going to pop this in for 5 to 8 minutes in the oven. And sometimes I don't even do that with my crust. So while the crust is in the oven for just a few minutes. I am trying to do a refresh on the kitchen. As you know, I always clean up after myself, and I would like to get this back to normal. A little bit. So that when Jean comes in, of course, it'll be nice and clean. I have 2 pieces of foil lined right here. You can see steam coming from the oven, and that's because of the pan that's in there. So my idea was, you could do this 2 ways. You can put half the batter in and then start swirling some of the raspberry preserves. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm using. Real red raspberry preserves. Which the jar is ice cold. And you can drop some dollops and then start swirling it in and then put the top in. Or I'm sure you could just do a few little dollops in the middle and leave that as is. And then put your rest of your cheesecake mixture on the top and then swirl it in. I'll show you what I mean by that. So, waiting on the pie crust. And how are you all making out? You getting your baking all done? I'm trying to get everything that I had planned, you know, because I'm doing food items as gifts. That was the game plan. If you don't like the raspberry seeds, you can put it through the sieve. It's delicious. I also have blackberry jam. All right, let's take a look at this. Just wanted it to set a couple minutes. Like I said, sometimes I don't even put my graham cracker crust in. And I have a funny feeling we're going to end up with extra filling. So first thing I'm going to do, and let's make sure you can see, since I'm a little unsure about what's going on with these pans, I'm literally going to bring it up and push it really tight onto the pan. And for extra security, I am going to beat their peas. Normally, I don't even have to double layer my pan, but it is what it is. Try to get it all scrunched on there, and then we are going to go, I guess, long ways. This up. I want a little extra piece of security. And this will also prevent cracking. Not that I don't have extra cream cheese to make another one, but okay. All right, that feels pretty good. Now, let's start putting some of this in. I knew it. I was going to have buku amount. That's okay. Start off with that. And then I think I'm just going to take a tablespoon or half, little dollops, right on the top. Can you see good? I just have to remember to zoom you back out. And then you can either take a tip of a knife and then just start blending that part in. Just like so. I may go in with a little bit more of the batter. Okay. Because it is a smaller pan. Spread it out. And then I think what I'm going to do this time is just drag it through. And then you could put some fresh raspberries on the top, if you like. I want to swirl the next, like, I think I'm just going to drag it. Or you could just swirl it in, whatever floats your boat. And then when it comes out, you can warm up some of this raspberry jam and put it on the top. So let me just make sure this is all even. Okay, this one is going in, and it is going in at 325 for 55 minutes, or until the center is set, but with a slight jiggle. Word to the wise, once you do your timer, why does this look like it needs a little bit more? Once you do your timer, I suggest you just turn the oven off and put a wooden spoon in the door. Don't yank it out right away, and you should have a good crust. Now let me put you down here and raise you up so that you can see. Hold on one moment. So you could put this over here. So you could see what I'm using. And I gotta get this in. So maybe right there would be good. All right, let's get this one in for 55 minutes at 325. So, see the water's already in there? Wish us luck with the springform pans. I'm just going to sit it right in there. Push it down. Close this up. And set a timer for 55 minutes. Okay, there's quite a bit of this batter left, so I might make up something else with it. So that's in the oven. I have to set a timer for 55 minutes. I'm going to clean this up and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so I just cleaned up some dishes, dried some things. This is how much I have left, and I'm wondering if it's enough for maybe this size, because this one's jeans, it's not, and then this is mine. So I'm trying to figure that out and just doing a refresh on the kitchen and make sure everything and anything that I used gets washed and dried. Just makes life easier. So let me finish doing that, and then I'll see what I can figure out. I also was thinking about doing, like, you know, because I think that's a decent amount. Just not sure if it's enough to fill another cake pan up. So I was also thinking about, like, the miniatures, like in the cupcake. So yeah. And then the other part of my brain is saying take out another thing of cream cheese and just make another batch. But I don't know. So far, it's looking pretty good in the oven. I don't see any major leakage, so that's a plus. Okay, so I'm just going to put this off the side until I figure out what I'm going to do. And now I should move on to something else I have to get done. I have all this extra sharp cheese. I am making au gratin cheesy potatoes. And I figured if I get the cheese done, I was just going to make it for me for Christmas. I bought things that I wanted to eat. No offense, but yeah. So I was just asked if I could, well, originally me, Thomas, and Jean, and then her sister, and I don't know what he is. So that would be 5 people. Now I would be doing the au gratin potatoes. And so I have that to do, where I could shred up some sharp cheese, either by the knuckle buster, or I could pull out my KitchenAid device to cut this up. Now I have good cheese for me. I think I'm going to mix this and a different cheese in my batch and just make them theirs. I don't know, that's what they want. So what I'm thinking is I might try this out, grate it. I have to grate it into something. So I just might use this, and I'm probably only going to use a half a block of my cheese. So let's cut half. Now, see how that goes. If you keep your cheese in the wrapper, it will stay fresher longer. So I figured an extra sharp white would work out just fine. I'm making the cheesy au gratin potatoes. Like I said, that's what I was having. And now so is everyone else. So let me cut a smaller piece, and then this could be one prep item done off my list. But I still have many other things to do. So let's see. Let me pull you back and let's grate some cheese in the new box grater from Jay. So I'm just going to use this. Yeah, this size. And we'll just grate this by hand instead of pulling out the KitchenAid one, even though it does it pretty quickly. This cheese is cold. I probably only had it out about 20 minutes, but you can see it's already sticking on the blades, so it should be interesting. I don't like to do my potatoes too in advance because they discolor, and you don't want too much water on the potatoes because then people complain it gets like watery. So yeah, I think this might need to be a little bit colder, and then I'll come back to grating it. I've had this before, but I just took a piece of it. It's so super sharp, it's going to be delicious. And the au gratin potatoes. I put the other piece in the refrigerator to get that a little bit colder in order to be peeled. And this piece here I will wrap up. And then we'll see what we can get into next. Okay, I took a break, went outside, got some fresh air. Let me move this out of the way. Let me explain what I was thinking. It is so cold in here. Friends, I am wearing a regular shirt, but I have to have this over it because it's so cold in here. Okay, so I'm sorry if you're seeing this yet again. And Mr. J is in Aruba. Lucky him. This is what I was thinking. I have really big professional ones. Let me try one of these inside a cupcake pan. See what I'm working with. I have an idea. Get this off. Let's see the depth, the thickness of these. Okay, not too bad. So let me tell you what I was thinking about doing. Let's try one. in cupcake tin like that. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to do more graham cracker crust, put some on the bottom, and then cheesecake, and then a ganache icing on this. That's what I think I'm going to do, instead of using another pan. And then maybe it not filling it up all the way. So, and then the boys can have individual fancier cheesecakes. The other one's smaller because there'll be other things I'm sure to eat. So I might not be able to get a whole tray, but I will try. And then the way that I make ganache icing, I have my book. I have so many things that I have to rewrite and organize. Let's see if I can find it. 1/3 cup of semi-sweet chocolate. You can even do chocolate chips. 1/3 cup of heavy cream, of course. You're going to melt the chocolate and the cream. Sometimes I used to put a pat of butter in it to give it that shine, and I was thinking about putting that on the top. So let's just see how many we can get. I might have to take this jacket off again and just freeze. But let's see, maybe with her ice cream, smaller ice cream scooper, and see how many we can get from what's left in the bowl before I go pulling out any more. Actually, I'm 10 steps ahead of myself today. I think when you get overwhelmed because you have so many things to do, and I just lost out on like 2.5 days. Graham crackers. So, same process. I'm going to do some graham cracker crumbs in the bottom of this and some of this on the top. So let me do the graham cracker crust. I'm kind of thinking this time around that I might just use 1 pack. We shall see. And melt butter again. And I'll put a tablespoon of sugar in this. A little bit of salt. But I don't want to waste the graham cracker, so I'm just going to do 1 full pack while it's still dirty with graham cracker crumbs. Let's see. I actually have, oh, what the heck. I have a couple left in here. So, I am just going to finish it up. Since having an extra little one, I wanted to go through these anyway. I'll keep that in that box. I'm going to crush them, and then a little tiny pinch of salt, tablespoon of sugar. So yeah, let me get that going. I know you can't see over there all that great, but I'm just going to do a pinch of salt. And then a little bit of sugar. Should equal. Yikes, I'm so sorry. I'm looking only for about a tablespoon. My pan fell because somebody had it sitting up there. So, tablespoon of sugar. And then I'm just going to pulse it real quick. Well, I'm going to crush them. Let's see, don't I have this on right? I'm going to get some butter and I'm going to start melting it. Okay, so I crushed that. I'm going to put butter in the microwave. And we're going to try to see if we can make this work, see how many that we get. on the butter. And oh my goodness, it is freezing here today. I probably should have moved you down here and just raised you up some. One woman show around here, my friends. You all know that if you've been here for a while. So, let's see if the butter is completely melted. And it is. In we go with the butter. And we will pulse this. I just washed that too. We'll pulse it. Okay. I think this should be good butter-wise. That looks really good. Okay, now we're going to get you over here and let's see if we can make this work. Okay, here we go. Let's try this out. Trying to move things out of the way. And let's work on this, shall we? Okay, I'm gonna think probably a tablespoon. Breadcrumbs, breadcrumbs. Oh my gosh, here comes the dogs. Pause for a moment. Dogs are amazing. They could be upstairs and hear a UPS truck pull up. Okay, so let me take this other pan off. I didn't set a timer for that cheesecake, but I have it in my head. At least I think I do. On the right time. Let me take a peek at it. Looking good. Okay, so about a tablespoon, I think. I'm gonna put in the cups, see how far this gets us. So that will be like the bottom. I'll press it down a little bit better. Or see if I want to add more breadcrumb, take it up a little bit further. Let's start off with these 6. So that I know I have enough just in the back of my fingers to press the graham cracker down. And I think I'm going to go in with another tablespoon. We might be able to, maybe a little less than another tablespoon. Press it down real good. And then you can do this however you want. You can put the cheesecake mixture in it and then add fruit. So that's all up to you. I'm winging this part because I have extra cheesecake batter because I already stated I used a smaller pan. All right. I'm just going to put this off to the side and grab the ice cream scooper. And I can't help it if you hear dogs bark. I say that all the time. My videos. There's some big dogs in this house. Okay, let's try Okay, what do we think about that? 2 scoops in each cup. Looks pretty full, and then it would leave some room. So you're getting like equal amounts of graham cracker crust to filling to whatever you want to put on the top. I didn't want to do all the cups, so I knew if I had enough of the batter to go around. So we'll be making cheesecake cupcakes, I guess you could call these. Mini cheesecakes. And then the top is a clear canvas for you to do whatever you like. And I think we should be able to get another 3. I don't want this to fall into the bowl, so I'm just going to set that there. Let's do these other 3 together. Same routine. Push them down with your fingers. I was afraid that these cups were going to be too big. You notice I didn't put the graham cracker in the oven. It will be just fine. Let's see if we can get enough. You could put chocolate on the top of this. Like I said, you could put fruit. I don't think I did 2 on that one. I think we might just make it because I didn't want to waste any cheesecake batter. And could possibly get 1 more. Okay, so I just want to clean up on the edge of this one. Let's see. If I scrape that bowl down, I might be able to get another one. Fresh blueberries and strawberries on the top would be great. And then I feel so much better not wasting any. So let's use the scraper. Scrape the bowl all the way down. So we'll get a raspberry swirl cheesecake. I mean, I swirled some in, but I might still put raspberry right on the top of it when it's all done and cooled. This one might not be absolutely perfect, this cheesecake. But I've made many with raspberry swirl, so I can put a picture up. Then we get 2 scoops. And that has a little bit more breadcrumb. I mean, why do I keep calling it breadcrumb? Graham cracker crust. And I think that looks pretty good, and we didn't waste anything. Okay. I'm going to start running water in that. Put my other cups away, and then I'm going to put these in the oven. Okay, I checked the cheesecake. It's not brown on the edges. I don't think it's quite done yet. I'm trying to keep an eye on it. Still has that jiggle in the center. It's just starting to brown. So let's go in with the cheesecake minis or cupcakes, whatever you want to call them. Get them in. And then, guess I'll bring it back when it comes out of the oven. Okay, I just checked the cheesecake. I'm going to let it go for another 20 minutes. I got most of the cheese shredded. And I still have to grate some Gruyere for my batch. So, in case I didn't state, what am I grating the cheese for? I am making au gratin potatoes for Christmas. So I think about another 20 minutes, we're going to take that cheesecake out. Okie dokie, friends. I'm taking this out. I'm calling it. It does have still a little bit of a jiggle in the middle, and I don't want to overdo it. So that's coming out, and the cheesecake cupcakes are not done yet. So I will show you that when it comes out. So I wanted to hop on real quick and let you know what Jean's been making. She didn't want it to be recorded because it's the first time she's making it. Salted caramel pretzel thumbprints. There's a good bunch of them. And then what you do is you, in the centers, you put the caramel. So I will give you this recipe down in the description. So they look good, don't they? They're probably going to be really tasty. You just use caramel syrup and it goes in the middle and sets. So wanted to share that with you. What's it called again? Salted caramel pretzel thumbprints. Okay. Now, as far as this is concerned, you can't have someone in the kitchen banging it to pushes it down a little bit. I was saying, my phone just cut off. I'm going to make homemade raspberry for the top of this. And I'm going to put it in a jar. And then these, because I don't want to mess this up, I want to put it in a jar, and then Christmas Day I'll put the raspberry topping on top of it. But when I go to do these, I will show you what it looks like, and we'll try one on film. But cheesecake turned out great, and there's the little mini cheesecakes. And I'll show you what the raspberry jam looks like on the top, and we'll try one. Everyone, I moved on to the next step. We're making the easy raspberry sauce. So I did, it's 12 ounces, but you need 2.5 cups of raspberries. Divide it. This is just starting to come to a boil. 3 1/4 cups of sugar, which is in there. I have to do 1/2 cup of water and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So let me do this real fast. Let's see. So half a cup of water, even though those raspberries were frozen, it said it was okay. Some vanilla. We need, how much vanilla? Okay. Okay, the vanilla's in. Alrighty. So now what I have to do is, I have it in a small saucepan over medium heat. Stir together the 1.5 cups of raspberries to sugar until it's dissolved. Heat the raspberries to boiling, stirring often. Okay, let me get a spoon. We have to give this a little mix because we want this to start coming to a boil. And this is what I decided I'm going to put on my cheesecake. And then in this cup right here, I did a slurry of water and cornstarch. I left some of the berries in the bag. I think it's only a 12-ounce bag. Okay, so anyway, where are we at? It was in a small cup. Combine the cornstarch to 2 tablespoons of water. I did that. And then, let's see, we have to stir this. In a small, let's see, cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water. Mix well. Pour this into the boiling raspberries mixture. Stir and boil over medium-low heat for 4 minutes. All right, so we're going in with the slurry. Slowly. We continue to stir. There we go, till it starts to thicken. You don't want to get burnt by this, so move it off the heat. You thickened it right up. You want to cook the cornstarch out of it. You don't want to see any lumps or anything. Let's make sure we got it all. It's the easy version, comes together, but I haven't made this in a while, so I had to look at my own recipe. Okay. Now, medium to low heat for 4 minutes. Or until it's thickened. So I'm just going to stand here and stir this a minute. And then we'll be removing it from the heat. And we'll be adding a tablespoon of butter into this. So a tiny bit more thicker. And we will have this for the cheesecake, the raspberry swirl cheesecake. Okay, this is going to have to cool for 15 minutes. Let me get my pat of butter. Let's see the thickness on this. Look at this. You don't have to strain the seeds out either. I had a little pat of butter out. What did I do with it? It's crazy because we're both trying to, Jean and I, get things done. Alright, let me just cut a piece off of this. So we need 1 tablespoon of salted butter. So let me get a knife. You just eyeball that. I'm going to rinse the cornstarch cup out. You want to make sure that it's thick enough. You want it thick, you don't want it too thick. I also don't want it to pop all over the place. So I'm just going to try to stay on top of it. That looks pretty good. Okay. Flame off. We're going to continue to stir. Another couple more seconds of stirring. And then we're going to drop the tablespoon of butter. It says remove the pan from the heat, add the 1 tablespoon of butter, and mix until butter is melted, and then we have to let it cool for 15 minutes. I won't make you suffer for that. I will put one on one of the cheesecake cupcakes, muffins, whatever you want to call them, from the extra batter. Let's go in with our pat of butter, tablespoons worth. I was going to do the chocolate ganache, but then Jean had to bake. And ganache is funny, you have to pay attention to it. We're just going to stir the butter in until it's completely melted. So what I've decided is that I'm going to put some of this. It'll look different. I'll post a picture of the one that I made a couple years ago. The rest of the raspberries that are left frozen end up going in at the end, just so that you have some chunky ones that aren't broken down. Okay, so we did the butter, 15 minutes. And then it says, and then add the remaining raspberries and mix in. I'm going to wait a couple minutes to do that till the butter is completely melted in. As you can see, you can still see the butter. But I will put some of this on the top of one of these cheesecake cupcakes. That's what I'm going to call them. Just so you have an idea. But just imagine adding some extra fresh or the rest of the frozen in with this will give you whole pieces. If you don't like the seeds, you can strain this, but let me taste. Oh my goodness, so good. I brought up a mason jar because I'm going to end up storing it in this, and then Christmas Day I will put this over top of the cheesecake. But like I said, I'll find a picture and I will post a picture in the video of what the cheesecake looks like when it's all done the right way. And then I'll have this off my list. And then I have a few more things to do. To toss up. I might make the cinnamon rolls because I'm giving a lot of them out for gifts. And I wanted to make the French toast casserole. But I'm going to do a quick version for all you busy moms and dads out there with little kids and you don't have time to make homemade cinnamon buns. You will love this recipe. It was made last Christmas morning. It's just like a good cheat to have in your records, especially if you're really busy and you want to have something for Christmas breakfast. That video will be coming up, so I have that to do. And the French toast croissant casserole I was going to do, I might turn that into like a savory stuffing with sausage, so I might end up doing that tomorrow. And maybe the cinnamon buns that I'm giving some to someone. Okay, so you get the idea. I have to put this in there next, which is the last of the raspberries, as the directions say, and it says you don't have to thaw them out or anything. We're going to mix that in. Okay, so I mixed the frozen all in, so it'll leave you some chunks, and I put some on top of this, and we're going to try it. And that will be Vlogmas today. And then we'll do the Advent calendar. So let me get a little paper plate and open this up and show you what this looks like. Okay, so we're going to try to get this open. Our little mini cheesecakes. I didn't put too much of the filling on. So I just did it just to give you an idea. Look at that gorgeousness. You can end up putting a little bit more on the plate. And let it drip down. If it drips down, that's great. But it looks fantastic for the little mini one. And then, like I said, I'll post a picture of what my raspberry cheesecakes look like. So let me get a fork and we'll taste test this. Then I'm going to bottle that up and that will be that. Okay, are you ready? Let's take a fork. And it goes right through with ease. It's a big mouthful. Absolute must to try. Okay. Absolutely delicious. You can't beat raspberry flavor in the jar this is going. And this will be ready and done for Christmas. I'm going to leave the other ones empty right now and put some of this on it on Christmas. I'm going to put some extra on mine. Treat yourself. It's the holidays. Absolutely delicious. Came together in under 5 minutes. And that's why I call it my... sorry, I'm still sucking on the cream cheese. My easy raspberry sauce. Anyone can make that. So good you can eat it off the spoon. But you want to get hot water in that pot pretty quickly. So my friends, this is so good. Decadent, sweet, amazing, absolutely amazing. And here is our raspberry sauce. You don't even have to strain it because you don't even taste any seeds at all. Okay, I just washed the pot. I am so rude. Take a bite. You should have had the first bite. So good. I'm going to put a lid on this. You can use this on pancakes, ice cream. Anyway, this is going to go in the fridge. And I'm going to wrap the cheesecake in saran wrap. Now, we need to go get the advent calendar, but I just can't stop eating this and do the advent. Oh my goodness. Saturday, December 23rd. So, let me go grab it. Okay, got the advent. And there is the 23rd. So let's get into this. I'll use my other hand. Oh, we haven't had one of these in a hot minute. This is their signature select chocolate. So that's awesome. And that's it. That was today's recipes. I wanted to get the raspberry cheesecake done, which you'll see all the swirls when it's cut into, and then the extra cheesecake batter. I made little mini cheesecakes, so I'll put it as raspberry swirl cheesecake with little mini cheesecakes. And then we also did the easy raspberry sauce. So that's it, my friends. That is my video for today for Vlogmas the 23rd. Lots to still get done. Love you all. If you're new here, think about subscribing. It literally will cost you nothing. And would love to have you. And this is going to be amazing. I'm going to wrap that in saran wrap. Probably a couple times to put that in the fridge for Christmas. And then anybody can eat these when they want. And then I guess I will see you tomorrow, hopefully, to get the last of my cooking or baking wrapped up. So until then, thank you, friends, for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. Happy holidays. Stay healthy out there. Be blessed. Be thankful. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.